Oh, hello there. Hey guys, what's going on? Memes here. Yes, you should be terrified. I am nearly on time. I know, don't that just beat all? Oh, welcome everybody who's now tuning in or who may temporally be joining us in the future. I can see you there. Yes. Yes, Charlie. Either too early or too late. It's always yes. Much appreciated, my friend. It has been said, and I know because I have it clipped out, that apparently, like a wizard, memes appear precisely when they are supposed to. It's somebody reminds me, I'll do that clip at the end. Uh oh God, merch. Here's the thing. The technical merch that I have, I usually just buy for myself. I know. I went to school for business. Worst business student ever. I had an opportunity to go visit a presentation put on by was I think Jack Kemp or something, or basically the person that literally wrote the book. Make it was it like winning for making for was it like making friends and basically making good deals. Like the guy that like was great, head of like General Electric or something for a year. I just went back to play World of Warcraft and Theorycraft things because I'm a terrible person. Let's welcome Poindexter. Thank you. My logo. To be fair, this actual logo over here and the little dragon thing was actually one of the first customs that I had done. And then Jitsi Lemons did that crazy like buff memes and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I can never achieve that. It's a good caricature, but welcome everybody. So let's not belabor the point. You might be a crackpot if. All right. So this got me because people like to use that term around a lot of times as derogatory. Note, in the doobly doo, I put hashtag not all because we're gonna go over some signs that basically like was it like Jeff Foxworthy? You might be a redneck if you might be a crackpot if, as we can see from the general thumbnail. Hold on, we got this somewhere. This guy, yes, yeah. The terrifying thing is, I have this exact board, but I stood in front of another wall. Hold on, God, I should share what before. Yes, one thing at a time. My brain only goes in certain orthogonal. Yes, you might be a crackpot if we're wielding our +1 tinfoil hat of crack pottery here. Maybe it'll be a +2 if we get it enchanted. Uh, yes, my version of a duck face, and of course, IR right, which is a little bit of an homage to IR Baboon, who often would conflict with I am Weasel. I'm literally just made of memes. It's terrible. Yeah, we're going just back to Cartoon Network, cow and chicken. Uh, but ultimately, this is going to be one of the things where basically the person's like, well, I'm right. Have you shared this with anybody? No. So you're the only one that's seen this? Yes. Do you have a background in like theoretical physics? Do you have a graduate degree or anything? No. What did you do? A job. Okay. This is going to change everything. Yes. Can you share it? No. And again, hashtag not all, hashtag. I've come across folks that have literally sounded, if not one, but seemingly all the flag. And that still does not mean that there might not be something there. But you might be a crackpot if you're like, yeah, I am right. And that's it. But let's get more specific. That's just a broad thing. And that's just a clickbait thumbnail. So let's get out of this. And first, the crazy thing is, right as I was trying to formulate, what should number one be? Coincidentally, I got to the point in Sean Carroll's most recent Mindscape podcast where he said it better than I could ever say it. So we'll take a look at that. Hey, welcome, Thomas. Well, thank you for joining, my friend. What's going on? Welcome, Crypto. Good to see you, my friend. And again, you also have to. There's something I learned from Stephen Wolfram when we were standing in line for lunch at the probably dinner at the Wolfram Summit. Stephen Wolfram usually doesn't really operate much earlier than probably like around noonish or 1 o'clock. For me, he's a night owl. He's a programmer. So among many things. But welcome, Bill. Welcome, good Bill. Let's see where we got. And again, this is one of the reasons why I put hashtag not all, because you might be a crackpot, but I feel like we should just say some of the things out loud, because a lot of times it's like me. I'm totally nuts. It's literally, I introduce myself as a crazy person on the internet. Why? Because even if you are crazy, perhaps one may be sufficiently crazy. I'm not saying that I am sufficiently crazy, but it's the thing where if you talk to enough folks, people are going to call you a crackpot and crazy anyway. So you just get it out of the way. What is this? Sales 101. Exceed expectations. If the expectations are nigh or negative, if you have any positivity, in retrospect, it looks like you might actually have a coherent thought here or there. But the first one is, okay, I kind of got into this whole thing, and I'm guilty of this myself. Explaining everything, okay, or very colloquially, you'll hear the term theory of everything. I'm not a big fan of that term. Why? Because within the realm of physics, what are we talking about? Number one, you don't want to put the gut before the toe. I learned that from Professor Keating. Basically, we don't even have a grand unified theory yet. So how the heck can we say theory of everything? So basically, what you need to do is, if you can unite like particle physics, like high energy physics, like quantum mechanics with gravity, because gravity doesn't seem to play really well when quantized and stuff, and perhaps string theory, because apparently we can get like a spin 2 boson or a spin 2 particle. I should be more accurate, appears to pop out for free. I mean, in the 80s, I see something like that. I'm like, well, duh, of course we're going to stay string theory now. The amount of Calabi-Yow's went from like about 5 to like, I don't know, like 10 to the 500. So the space is larger. Maybe AI agents will be able to help map that space. Maybe it's very beautiful mathematics and doesn't actually model our world in a way that we can understand. I can't say. Welcome, nerdy. Wait a second. I see what you did there. Yes, I am merely a pot which has recently been subjected to acceleration and impact. I was curious what Google was going to give me when I typed in crackpot, because I'm like, is it just going to show me a picture of a cracked pot? But it knew me too well. It knew I was that's crazy. This is the thing. People are difficult. This is kind of why I went to like the science communities, because I'll be honest, figuring out reality, I claim, might be easier than figuring out human beings. Something, emergent complexity, blah, blah, blah. I cannot confirm that. Let's say, Sebastian, we were in Portugal. No further comment. Okay. Okay, let's have a little fun. All right. Now, for those of you in the States, my mom told me, God bless good old mom, that apparently in the early morrow, if one looks low on the horizon to the west, should be able to see the Milky Way. I think that'd be pretty neat. I'm not usually a morning person. I'm kind of like Professor Wolfram. It's like, yeah, probably don't schedule a meeting before 1 o'clock. I've done it. I get 4 or 5 a.m. Lift things up, put them down. Probably should get back into that. It's gotten some of the best shape of my life. Let's actually get into the whole thing that we're doing here. All right, so this is Mindscape, 35 minutes. Oh God, let's go back a little bit more. I think it was probably around 30. All right, here we go. So,
that the people who I like, the people who I really like, enjoy talking to, and again, this is a selection bias on my part, is people who are curious.
okay, let's just
People who want to ask new questions about things, people who want to ask the big questions about how things work, people who have patience to dig into, why is it this way rather than that way, right? I think that correlates very strongly with having that philosophical cast of mind. Sometimes I get asked.
Okay, so we're getting that prerequisite out. Sean Carroll's a fan of people that ask big questions. If you ask him if he could find out anything about physics, he's not going to beat around the bush. He's like, I want to know the quote unquote theory of everything. I want to know everything. Is that a bad answer? No, that's the answer that you're looking for, apparently. And again, let's momentarily clarify the difference, because when you're using words, okay, theory of everything within physics, okay, what we're talking about is literally uniting gravity with quantum mechanics, or an equivalent thing with the same level of predictive power. That if you can parse it further than we already have, fantastic. Now you've got a grand unified theory of quantum mechanics and gravity. Bravo. Okay, now explain everything else, the neutrino masses, blah, 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 all this other jazz. Okay, so we can explain all the observed things within physics, and you can have predictive power, whatever amount of information you would have or require to do so. Now, if you can describe all the stuff within the physical world where our detectors go click, that sounds like a theory of everything. Okay, within physics, I prefer theory of everything. I got to use the quotes there, because even the Pace One contest, I'm like, oh, I stumbled upon the best theory of everything yet, at least on me. I prefer Professor Wolfram's characterization of, we're seeking a fundamental theory of physics. Okay, because when you say theory of everything, did you explain everything? Did you explain the sensation of chocolate, the color red? Those are the quote unquote qualia things as well. Because if you're going to explain everything, that's a lot. Maybe start with one thing. If you can explain one thing, maybe that will branch out. We'll have to see. But let's get back to Professor Carroll, because he's going to share a particular story about, I think it was the one time when he was a young physicist, how there was a fairly wealthy individual said, I got a friend, he'd like to share his idea, and literally paid for him to go out there and everything. And he said it was an interesting experience, but I think he's going to lay it out pretty well. Here we go.
What are the ways in which you determine whether some person who is trying to talk to you is maybe a serious person but doesn't know a lot versus just being a crackpot? And there's a lot of people out there in both categories, so it is important to be able to distinguish between them. And the single most important thing, the single easiest way to tell the difference is, are they genuinely curious, right? Are they actually asking questions, hoping to learn something from you? Are they actually interested in what you have to say, not just in their pet little idea? Do they actually try to improve their own ideas? Do they look for the flaws in their own ideas? I did once get flown out when I was at the University of Chicago. I got flown out because a donor to the university had a friend who had a theory about physics. And so the donor said, could we just get a visit from a physicist to talk to my friend who is, has this theory of the universe? And I got picked. I was young and impressionable at the time. So I flew out. The donor guy was very nice. The friend, it was just a crackpot. He was also nice. He was nothing bad or mean about him, but he had a theory of cosmology. And the reason why I just instantly could tell that he was a crackpot rather than a sincere person is because not only did he have no interest in learning about regular cosmology, he also had a conviction that he could explain everything. That's the other sign that you can get someone classified as a crackpot, they're not just explaining one important thing, they're explaining everything in the universe all at once. And anyway, the point is that just to make sure, and to try to illustrate to the donor guy what I was up against here, I would say, well, what does your theory predict about this question? And the guy would say, oh, it predicts this. And I would say, well, okay, that's not what we actually observe in the universe. What we observe is this other thing. And the guy would instantly go, oh, no, that's right. That's what I would predict after all, right? There's a very long-winded way of saying that that's not what you want in a podcast guest, an expert in diverse fields, no matter what.
So he goes on. The question was generally related to who do you decide, or who are you interested in having on your podcast? And it goes down to, it's like, well, number one, you want to be interested, and then how do you do a type of sorting process, if you would? And again, if you would like an actual physicist to review your work, I believe Professor Keating is offering for $1,000 an hour that he will donate to the local food bank. He will go over your stuff and let you know, based upon his knowledge, what he thinks. Initially, nobody took him up on it, but he's in the greater San Francisco Bay Area, and apparently some folks have taken him up on it now. And it's just like, he's like, yeah, the people that came in, they had their AIs and stuff like that, their agents and stuff, and they're like, oh, yeah, you're totally right. You're right. Oh, yeah, it said all these nice things. And then, he's like, yeah, it just didn't pan out. And again, that was at least the last time I heard that. I can't say if it's been after some of the new updates where things seem to go from more just kind of like saying nice things to at least make me feel good, to be like, now, and occasionally you pop, oh no, you read this wrong. Okay, it will accept that, but as far as at least going what we generally understand within physics and the generalized methodologies, it's gotten a lot better. And again, some folks have probably heard about the whole ChatGPT internal model seems to have helped solve the gluon something problem. And it's like, well, you mean it helped used a lot of computation, found a simplified form of it, based upon where Ed Whitten said that there was probably an interesting thing going on. Sean Carroll kind of actually goes through this. He's like, well, yeah, it's a new tool. It's like, well, yeah, you use Mathematica, you use a calculator and stuff. And if these things can go through and do a lot of the copy, I'm not going to lie. It's some of the things, it's like, all right, it spends like a minute and a half going through this, and it provides me all these calculations. Like, Wolfram Alpha or in a mathematical notebook, I'm like, yeah, that probably would have taken me at least 10 minutes to do. And it is formatted very well, so I'll give it that. But again, all right. So number one, I have the answer to everything. Okay. I can't deny that. I feel like the next question is, are you a god? Which apparently you're supposed to answer yes to, but I wouldn't want to commit any more blasphemy. Who knows? Maybe the person is literally the Almighty taking a meat suit form. That could be the case. So that might also be the last one we're going to get into, because I have had at least maybe one or two experiences of that as well. Part of this, and again, this ain't an attack on anybody in general. If somebody wants to take an attack, by all means, hey, I ain't your dad. You can do whatever you want. But I just find it fascinating, because I'll come across folks, and then some folks will send me some things, and I kind of go through. It's like, oh yeah, this reminds me of this. I'm like, oh, I'm curious. I'll look at this. It's like, yes, that this solves a fine structure constant. It's like, okay, go and actually go through, plug in some numbers and everything for what they have, and it's like, 1/137, just as an estimate, is better than actually what comes out here. I went through another paper last night from like another Discord server. I saw somebody post, and I'm like, okay, this number is just wrong. Maybe I input, but it looked like you were scaling by the golden ratio squared. So I'm like, if it's 5 squared, let me play. I'm like, no, this is just wrong. So What do you want me to say now? And when I say wrong, like it wasn't like 137, it was off like 60, 80 or something like that. And I'm trying to find out, like, okay, did I do this wrong? What would I have to plug in for it to be all right? Then I'm like trying to reverse engineer something. It's like, okay. Long story short is a lot of folks will say things, and then you'll see some folks say it's like, oh, the golden angle, it's 137.5. It's like, we're talking reciprocal of the fine structure constant, which is 137.0359999, and then we argue about the 10th plus significant digit depending upon the experiment, because we only know the speed of light, 9 significant digits. That might have been a little bit of a technicality, but I believe that is accurate. Could be wrong. And that's the other thing. Okay. What are you unsure of? It's like, okay, so what doesn't this do? Number one, somebody says they explain everything. Maybe they can. The first question should be, so how do you calculate the mass of the electron? Maybe there's an answer for that. If somebody is saying they explained everything, if the answer's we just do it the exact same way we do in particle physics. It's like, why? We measure the mass of the electron. As far as I know, there's no generally consensus on a method of being able to calculate the electron. We have to measure that and plug it in from experiment. Technically, we do that with all the particles, actually. And again, if there's a particle physicist or somebody watching this, and that's incorrect, that's why. Now, again, I know other folks have their own constructions. I know us speaking with the Saturday monastery Discord meeting. I believe it's Curtis. I'd seen him on some of the Apex shows. Basically, he has a quaternionic field theory, and basically he's using John G. Williamson from the Quacycles group's method of formulating the electron using the Compton wavelength and a trefoil style knot. And it happens to bring up some interesting properties and everything. And basically that's his ansatz. It's like, all right, we are conjecturing this. This is going to be a basis for what we're going to be able to use to try to figure out what's going on with the other stuff and things that's happening. And again, those words that I just said there may not be fully accurate, and I would not want to misrepresent him. But I was going through, and it was interesting because, like, I'll put different papers in there, and like folks will send me some stuff. Occasionally, I still got some emails I think I need to respond to. But occasionally, I'll put some things in there. And it's like, I'll go through, I'll make some suggestions. I'll say, okay, well, there's a problem here or there. A lot of times, it's like, all right, revision, major revision, something like that. I put in Curtis's paper. It's like, all right, well, this is actually seems to be structured, because it's like, all right, I don't know this, because basically, if you claim something, maybe that's true. Do you have evidence for this, or is that a conjecture? That's one of the things I learned from Wolfram, because when he was going back and forth with Jonathan Garrod, when they were doing some of the early stuff on the physics project and other related things, I would hear Jonathan and Stephen Wolfram both go, I claim XYZ. This is the following. This is the structure. Or the claim is this. And again, I can get numbers to line. Heck, you want the anomalous moment of the electron and stuff? Oh, I've calculated that to like all 13, 14 significant digits. Was it a coherent framework? No. Because at least you're looking for a pattern between like the electron, the muon, and the tau's anomalous magnetic moments. To try to find a common factor between them and get to that, I tried. I mean, I was able to match digits, but it was just numerology. It was kind of pretty numerology, but what am I going to say? Yes, this is what it is. Well, why not something else? Is there at least a pattern going on with the similar anomalous magnetic moments of the other leptons? If somebody knows, please let me know. I'm curious. I know Thad's curious and everything as well, because that's a tough one, and that's basically the maximum limit that we've probed within quantum mechanics is the anomalous magnetic moment of the electron, or something like a G-2. except for the electron rather than muon. Muon's like 12 or 13 significant digits now, something like that. Apparently, the lattice QCD'd it into oblivion. Let's see, where are we at? Oh God, nerdy is conjecturing. What if God was one? I'm okay. Too much blasphemy. Too much blasphemy. Hey, Bill. I mean, Professor Keating. I'm pretty sure he's University of San Diego. He's the Chancellor's Distinguished Professor. If you would like to spend $1,000 to have a Zoom meeting and present your stuff to Professor Keating, by all means. Well, that's the thing. It's like, all right, is it falsifiable? Because that's the thing. Professor Carroll was just highlighting right there. It's like, oh no, it does this. You just changed what you said. It's just, how do we falsify it? Listen, I've become much more skeptical of a lot of my own conjectures and stuff like that, but it is a very easily falsifiable thing. That's why it's like, I'm not going to make the claim. Okay, when you're 0.2 sigma away and you're proposing a crazy idea, it's a lot easier than when you're 2.8 sigma away. More recent Higgs boson measurements, more like it. About 2.5 sigma or 2.8 sigma away. Now again, 5 sigma is a discovery or something. Maybe it'll swing back. I don't know, but hey, I'm going to go by the measurements. I'm going to assume people know what they're doing and just go where the evidence is. It's okay to be wrong. You learn. You're gaining more skills so that you can be less wrong. Because science is the quest to cast off our misconceptions, right? Electron comes out as it's a very mathematician thing to say, nerdy. Yes. What is the square root of 2? It's equal to root 2. Yeah. You can do a lot of digits, but that's not completely root 2. Why? It is irrational. You, my friend, are a rational rodent. Unless I've misjudged. I'm not a quantum mechanic. From what I remember constructing I was working on a Higgs Lagrangian, which is basically just energy density. You basically just plug in the mass of the Higgs. From what I remember, it's literally just you plug in the mass of the Higgs. That'll give you its like Compton wavelength, and then one of the terms ends up converting the mass to a length. So you'll have like mass squared, like h bar squared over something else, maybe h bar c or something like that, because h bar c is basically used to reduce the curvature. So a lot of times, you'll have something expressed as energy to the 4th power. Oh my God, how do I help normalize that? And you divide it by h bar c raised to the 3rd. So you end up getting out one dimension of energy dense, 1 degree of it. It depends on how you express it. I'm sorry, I'm not an expert on there, but I'm pretty sure. I don't think so. Again, I could be wrong. I'm sure that, listen, if electrons are a consistent thing and they seem to all have the same mass, there's got to be some mechanism for why nature does it that way. I know Thad has a proposed solution. Blank mass to the 4th divided by kilograms to the 3rd times 4 Giesing constants. Coincidentally, that hits about 6 significant digits on the mass of the electron. Well, you got that to like 10 or 12 digits. That's why he has a second piece, because the claim is something interesting happens at around the 7th significant decimal place. Is that the way nature actually works? I don't know. I ain't no god nor prophet. Yes, the crackpot conjecture. There's actually there is a test. Let's see. Where are we? For the grace of they go high. Hey, the imaginary unit is a fantastic idea. Is that the way to go, or should we go through some other things? Sebastian, I have met some interesting folks that have thrown some of these different flags we're gonna continue to go over, I swear, in another minute or so. But even if somebody is like literally like waving the flag of crackpot, you never. Oh, let's go into that. Let's where is this? Gotta go to actually Professor Keating's channel. Brian Keating. I know I should have had all these tabs open. Max Tegmark. Oh God, how do I know this? All right, so let's see, where are we? So since we're also conjecturing here, and I need about 30 seconds. So let's have Professor Wolfram, because again, it's like, again, I'm not a sociologist or psychologist. I would talk to your own personal one, or perhaps something like that. But let's conjecture ahead. Oh God, here we go. All right, buckle up, everybody.
Although this is going to be weird, and it's going to be about a different.
Title of the conference was something like "Ground Truth" or "Turtles All the Way Down," and so it seems as though there's one Ruliad. I don't think it rules them all, and it might be just hyper rulial turtles all the way down.
Yes, it's on the back of an infinite number of hyperrulial turtles.
Various people are commenting on the outrage of hacking the universe on a MacBook Air.
Okay. Here we go. I got it. All right. Get my timestamp. All right. So let's unshare this. Let's share this. This is from where are we? This is Max Tegmark and Eric Weinstein. AI, aliens, theories of everything, and New Year's resolutions. Oh God. This was from 5 years ago. I've been a crackpot for 5 years. Wow, that's half a decade. Mommy, wow, I'm a big kid now. All right, let's go into it.
You know, my Nobel Prize proceeds with you. I actually asked that of Adam Rees, and he said, yeah, how do you think I won the Nobel Prize in physics? But in reality...
Oh, I just realized where is it? Oh, here we go. All right. I was premature. All right. Let's go into here's the full quote that the context. Professor Keating, take it away.
That theory is kind of like software, and experiments like I do are kind of like hardware. And therefore it's very precious. But I get a lot of emails. I'm sure both of you guys do. I've got this theory of the early universe. I need to, or of grand unification. Can you help me prove it? And I'll share, my Nobel Prize proceeds with you. I actually asked that of Adam Rees, and he said, yeah, how do you think I won the Nobel Prize in physics? But in reality, there's...
Okay, again, this is one of the reasons for hashtag not all. Because I remember Professor Keating said that. It's like, so somebody sent me an email, and at one point I was interviewing that. At one point he's like, well, somebody sent me an email. I'm like, this maps to something I had heard before. And again, I don't know that. Maybe it will lead to something. Hey, maybe it's just all bollocks. Who knows? We're gonna have to see what happens. So, okay. So, here's the thing. The one thing that I had basically learned from Professor Jordan Peterson is you can never model the extraordinary. Now, the extraordinary, you could say that in you can say it in a negative term. It's like, oh, that's extraordinary. Oh, yeah, it's weird. It doesn't fit our standard curves and everything. Or you can say, that was extraordinary. Never seen anything like it. So does this go back into it's not what you say, it's how you say it? Maybe. I've met some people that I think they have some spectacular ideas that they should share with the world. Sometimes they're a wee bit rough around the edges. Sometimes they're not always great at playing nice with others. And that's why it's like, well, let me go out there. I can usually get along with about 99.9% of people or something like that. There's only that 0.1%. No matter what you do, they're going to hate you. That bothered me for a long time. I learned a little bit more about statistics rather than just like passing with maybe a C or C- in high school. not my best subject. It was kind of dry. It was like Zoom with local. I don't know. I digress. So, all right. So number one, somebody's like explains everything. Good luck. Good luck. That should be sign one. Sign two. Sign two. You might be a crackpot. I can't tell you. What? I've solved everything, but I can't tell you. Why not? Well, somebody will steal my idea. The internet is time stamped and dated and everything. It's just Professor Carroll gets asked this. It's like, listen, you got an idea, put it out on the internet. It's like, listen, that's time stamped and dated. Somebody steals your ideas. Oh, well, look at it. Listen, if you really put it out there, this is the first it is seen there. Just if some grad student or whatever, if they steal the idea, I'm like, but it literally was here first. Okay, the reason I say this, and again, people can disagree with this, it's I kind of had this, I don't want to say epiphany, that gives it me. Okay, I'm old enough to remember back when like Facebook, yes, that thing I used many ages ago, it changed its button, maybe it changed it back from post to publish. And I noticed, like, when it went from post, I'm just posting something on the internet, I'm publishing something on the internet. Because at least growing up, publicated, you would write an article. Maybe you would get put in the paper. Some eyeballs across a given area would see said paper, and statistically, some eyeballs may have seen your little blurb on the back page of page 23 or something like that. Okay. To be fair, there was somebody, I did have an English class in probably my senior year, and I think they had us write little essays on something. They're like, they usually get published. I feel like that may have been a word. Actually, I never checked to see if it was. I don't even know what I wrote it on. It's probably something that I may or may not have even agreed with. It's just like, all right, here's a principal position, even if I'm not a big fan. Why? Consistency is important. Let's see. Poindexter, that's a conjecture. I can't prove that. It's a claim. It's a claim. It's just using the, and that's one of the big things where somebody's like, all right, this is an interesting thing. They might stumble upon an interesting thing. It's like, all right, well, this, therefore that. Are you sure? Have you looked into what we generally know? And again, hey, maybe it's all bollocks. But if it's bollocks, it's at least bollocks enough that we can be literally remotely viewing this whole thing at near the speed of light to observers like us. With engineering, the proof is in the pudding. So, and again, it might not be the fundamental principles of reality because we don't know them. Does everybody know exactly what's going on? No, I think by definition, that literally is God or universe. Whatever is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. Whether you want to say that's where we live or what word you wish to speak for God, whether or not you believe in God or the goddess Spinoza or something like that. But yeah, we're all parts and a fraction of a greater whole. I mean, that just seems to be a given. Again, you can feel free to disagree. But there are we. Let's see. This is half the thing on MySpace. Oh God. Oh, I think I heard MySpace was still around. Well, I mean, this is why you have files on your own local drive and stuff. And if you put stuff out on the internet, I mean, that's the thing. I feel like most human conflict is usually avoidable. It's usually how you respond to a situation. Somebody will do something and it might seem beyond the pale. And then we just dive into this. Oh, look what they did. Look at this, finger pointing. People get emotional, brash, angry. they'll say things that maybe they didn't necessarily mean, and in the heat of the moment, it's like people get passionate about things, and we'll get into the tail end of that. But let's continue, because I've run into different folks that are literally, I can't tell you why. I need to get sponsored to the archive. I've literally been asked this literally, can you sponsor me to the archive? Can you sponsor me to the archive or something like that? It's like, can you do this so I can share this answer for the fine structure constant with the world or something? It's like, I mean, I'm happy to take a look at it. I mean, one of the things that attracted me to like Thad's work is like, oh, he apparently has a reason, at least a closed form explanation of the fine structure constant. You can disagree. And to be fair, it actually, if you follow it out, it actually assumes a preferred basis of the units. So that's an issue right there that at least needs to be explained or have a good reason for why that may or may not be the case. Can you point out your flaws? If somebody's like, all right, so what's wrong? What's not fully formed? And if you can't say anything, if you don't have the modesty to say, well, I need some work on this. Can you just not say the words? Is it too much for your ego to bear? I know I was like this. Oh my God. I used to just be so much, and I still am. It's like, no, it must be this way. No, why? Because it's my precious. It just makes me feel. Oh, that was how I found out I was so wrong, because I went to a more simple argument. ChatGPT had him an update. It's like, no, you have a preferred basis problem here. And I'm like, it was a lot. It was a lot. It hurt my pride. It hurt my pride. Oh, you can see, heck, there was probably a skip for a month there where I'm like, wow, okay, let me regroup and everything. Oh, it was I didn't heed Professor Wolfram's take on it enough. He's like, you can't care that much, because statistically, most ideas are wrong. So if all of a sudden you get so invested in something that it becomes part of your personal identity, at that point, it's basically just that it goes from, are you doing science, or this is an opinion I hold? You can hold that opinion. That's totally fine. But I've heard tell that facts don't care about your feelings, and your opinion might be your personal feeling. That was harsh. I apologize. That's the other thing. Why can't you be quick to say you're sorry? I learned that from an old chicken hermit out in Michigan. Oh, God, I've been on the internet far too long. Oh, that brings me back. That's why the channel has no idea what to do with me. Okay. So what is the problem we're talking about? All right. If somebody's like, I have all these things, I know how to do all this stuff, I can't share it with you. Why might that be the case? Now, the number one thing that you go to, it's like, are you afraid it's wrong? Because if you're afraid it's wrong, that sounds more like a personal issue. And again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a dude on the internet. Now, maybe there is a good reason, because occasionally it's like, you'll have that idea. It's like, well, I need to get published to archive first so people can take me seriously, but I can't show you. I'm going to talk in riddles. I've had this happen probably more than I care to admit. And again, that doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong. But you can't verify if something's wrong if somebody doesn't share it with you. That's the whole concept of peer review. Because is it true? What is the more probable likelihood that this one person, maybe a small group, this person or people have truly figured out what is going on, or is it more likely they made a mistake? I make mistakes all the time. Statistics would probably say that, yeah, probably. Okay, and even if you had something, even if you are onto something, can you present it in a way that people can understand? That was one of the criticisms kind of with Ramanujan. It's just like, you have this thing, this appears to hold, and he had to work with, was it Robinson or Oh God, I forget. It's Rogers, I think. Conjecture. Ramanujan Rogers, something like that. I could be wrong. It was a British gentleman. But basically, it's like they had to help him to actually prove some of these things because it's like it came to me in a dream. If the work holds, the work holds. Now, the formalized proof system for that may come later, but it's like if you can at least write it down in a mathematical form. Now, you can use words and stuff, but it's like words, well, we kind of need to maybe have some units, some magnitudes, see the relationship between the different things. If you're unwilling to look at what's out there, because, no, I got this. It's like maybe there's a tragic flaw you haven't accounted for. And sometimes it's like, oh, well, they'll steal my ideas and stuff. It's like, maybe, but again, it's like if you are time stamped and dated, like I put stuff out all the time on YouTube and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe there's a grand conspiracy and everything to keep us down or stuff. Or it might just be a popular thing. Because apparently populism's on the rise. I mean, that terrifies me because that optimizes for crazy people like me to just go out there, say something with charisma and a smile, say it with confidence and conviction. And some people will just believe you. Maybe put on a nice jacket. Maybe take off the sunglasses. Stop looking like a cartoon character. Maybe put on a tie and everything. And I can use fancy 42-point Scrabble words and speak in a particular cadence and way that people are used to. So all of a sudden their mind just triangulates. Oh, this looks like a professional. They sound like a professional. They might be hawking a whole ton of garbage down my throat, but they sound professional, so it must be true. That will never happen. Nerdy, God bless you. I hope you never stop looking like a cartoon character. You got it. I'm not even going to lie. I didn't even identify Pickle Rick until many years later. Wow. I am an uncultured swine. All right. Let's see. Well, Bill, I love you, brother. Just be wary of people on the internet. That's all I can say to that. That sounds kind of like the thing. It's like delete all your files before we start working together. I mean, those are just that should just be a red flag number one there. It's like delete all your work. Why? It's yeah. That's unfortunate. Oh, hey, VCRs, listen. I can pretend to be I did corporate sales for a decade, and a lot of times what you need to do is, and Dr. Eric Weinstein, bless his heart, he is amazing at this. He'll take you through an emotional roller coaster. He'll start saying all these fancy words and things you may or may not have heard before. And then he'll end up bringing you up, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's a twist to the story. Oh, we've been stuck. It's obviously something going on, all the people you don't like. Now, maybe that is the case. I can't say. It's my general MO is not to lessen the readiness of the United States Armed Forces. I'm an American. I don't always got to agree with what my country is doing. But that's my general take, and why I may or may not comment on some things. Theoretical is a beautiful thing because you don't know. You're gonna have to follow experiment. Let's see, and typically try to simplify things. Okay, so for time's sake, let's go to number 3. This is going to be this is actually going to build off number 2. I may extend this to 6, but number 3, you might be a crackpot if you're only willing to share with the world once you get your millions of dollars. I've solved everything, or something so significant. I've gone down to the base of reality itself. I require $42 million. I've been in the room when that happened. I've been in I've been in other chat rooms where it's like $30 million. It seems to be within the same variant. Now, here's the thing. Again, that might be true. That's occasionally, I think there might actually be something truly significant there, but it's like, I can't share this to you until I'm sitting down with Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Jeff Bezos, or yes, as I keep on stomping around here. Rawr! It's again, somebody might be brilliant, maybe a little bit rough around the edges. If you're demanding tens of millions of dollars before you can share your idea with the world here on the internet where it's time stamped or dated, you might be a crackpot. And again, hashtag not all. But I'm sure nobody's ever encountered anybody like this. It's like, or it's occasionally I'll get an email from somebody. It's like somebody's asking all these questions and somebody forwards me an email and it's like, I can only share this with a person that has like 10 years of like quantum electrodynamic experience, all these things, blah, blah, blah. I need to sit down with Sean Carroll, Ed Whitten, Nima Arkami, Hamed, Eric Weinstein. I need to get in front of this person and or a potential patron to give me millions of dollars, and then I will share with the world. Now, here's the thing. This is one of like those causal diagrams. It's like, all right, I figured everything out, or something incredibly significant. I figured it out, whatever it is. Okay. I would like to be rewarded for my work. Okay. But I can't show you any of this until I am rewarded for my work. And a lot of times it'll be something along the lines where it's like, I'm saying this just because I assume there are other cases and stuff around there where it's like, all right, so you figured this out, something fundamental. You can't show me the work, but okay, sit down with a couple of famous physicists, maybe not even the experts there, but just the famous ones that we see on YouTube and stuff, as well as some billionaire that will guarantee investment if my argument holds water. Okay. Now, that sounds like a rather large ask, right? Especially if you're not willing to share anything. I would say the way one would go about that, you would try to go about your traditional means where maybe if you took physics in college or something like that, maybe you would go to your own physics professor and be like, what are your thoughts of this? Like somebody you know and trust. And one of the things that I've learned is trust is one of the hardest things to earn. It's one of the fastest things to burn. So again, this is why I, as somebody that's burned a lot of bridges in the past, I try not to burn too many just because I see a lot of interesting things. I might not always agree with the claims that are being made, but I also learn. And if I notice an interesting thing, let me apply it into something that maybe my personal framework for thinking about things. And I try to give shout outs and let folks know that, listen, I got this from this person. It's like, hey, I was looking at a thermodynamic thing. It's like Bill drew my attention to thermodynamic stuff. Let me work with this. I don't have to agree with anything that Bill or Rick or whoever, Craig, whatever, Curtis or something. I might totally disagree, but it's like, I remember this idea collective when I was browsing this or talking to this person. Isn't that just what we want? We just want credit for like where credit is due. Just give like a little shout out, get a little citation or something to the folks that you know that have helped you along the way. Isn't that what we're supposed to learn from like all those like Emmy speeches that the people always hate? It's like, I'd like to thank all these people, and it goes on forever. And then they forget somebody, and there's a drama and everything. It's like, that's the thing I've learned. You never know where a good idea may come from. But here's the thing. If you wanted to like to get themselves in a position to actually make such a crazy demand upon people, you're you're probably going to have to actually share it with other folks that you at least trust, or at least share with other folks so that they could share with other folks, and then within a couple degrees of separation, maybe somebody could bring it to somebody's attention. If you're just going to demand without literally, was it Minnesota? Show me the money. Show me the thing. If you cannot show me the thing here and you're going to demand money, okay, that's fine. It's also not like anybody else could figure it out. Because remember, it's so simple you can't share it because somebody else will steal it. If it's so simple, I'm sure nobody else has figured it out and you're about to get scooped. Maybe, maybe not. Can't say. Again, not a quantum mechanic. I'm just something I've learned about people. I just noticed certain patterns. It's like if I experience it straight up, I was on Eric Weinstein's Discord probably like 5 years or so ago, and there was like one dude man there that I think the general consensus is he was literally having a mental breakdown. At some point, he was like, "She'll be revealed by 5 rings," and I'm like, dude, man is nuts. Probably. I won't get into it more. Crazy thing is probably about 3 or 4 months later, I run across Thad's work and everything, and it's like, so there's like these 5. And again, that's just me trying to map for things. So it's again, hashtag not all. Now, what somebody actually meant by that, I'm simply extrapolating and trying to fill in patterns. That's all I really do. I see a thing, it looks like this thing. I ask Wolfram Alpha or go into a notebook, compute some stuff and things. Maybe it gets a cool number. Maybe I see something interesting. Can I say that's exactly how it is? It's probably going to need more of a mechanism for that, really. Or maybe it would be helpful to study some of what we know within physics that has helped predict things to like 10 significant digits or so. Again, it's a personal opinion. Okay, so what should... To be fair, I haven't even... Okay, what is number 4? What is not... Oh, Missouri. I stand correct. Okay, thank you, MC. Yes, Missouri. Show me the money. If you're going to demand show me the money, you should probably show me the thing. If you can't show me the thing, yeah, do not pass go. Do not meet with billionaire and or famous scientist. But then again, I don't know. Maybe it could happen. Maybe you get lucky. Maybe all of a sudden you just run into Elon Musk and Professor Keating and Dr. Eric Weinstein. You're going to go in there, and in 5 minutes on a whiteboard, you're going to be like, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this makes sense. Mr. Musk will say, bravo, good sir. Here's your $30 billion. Have at ye. And everybody will bow their head. Maybe that's the case. To be fair, apparently, even with Einstein's general relativity, that we applaud. Thank you, Professor Einstein. A lot of people weren't big fans. It basically took like Arthur Eddington, basically apparently an extremely charismatic. I don't even know if he was like an actual scientist and stuff. He just kind of seemed like a science enthusiast / explainer. This goes around. He may or may not. He probably, according to Stephen Wolfram, he likely fudged some numbers for the actual eclipse to make things work. But okay, better observations and stuff. Einsteinian gravity, according to Professor Roger Penrose, holds for 14 significant digits. Coincidentally, Newtonian gravity, according to Professor Penrose, holds for about 7 significant digits. We kind of need quantum mechanics once we got past the 6th significant digit, and the maximum experimental verification of the standard model is the 14 significant digits. Total coincidence. I'm sorry, that's speculation on my part, but let's see. Let's go back. Let's see what everyone's saying. Let's see. One of the things there is Bill is commenting on money and stuff like that. To be fair, if your idea is that revolutionary, and you're saying to yourself, well, this is obviously gonna. If your idea is that revolutionary, I'm pretty sure just publicly putting it out there and being recognized as the individual, you're going to garner a lot of attention, number one. Now, throw away, just not to mention, like, if you actually have solved something, you're probably going to actually win a lot of scientific prizes. So you're probably going to get like prize money for that. Not to mention, if everybody wants to talk to you on the news, different podcasts and everything, it's this whole concept of appearances. So basically, post idea, it is monetizable. I can understand people wanting ideas to be out there and everything, but it's like, I'm just saying, if you're demanding money before you can share it with the world, you might be a crackpot. Let's see. Well, there is also the argument of, is it something you necessarily want out there? Because, okay, like perhaps it might not be the wisest thing to have how we construct the demon core or something like that for a future. Maybe it shouldn't be publicly available. I don't know. I tend to think most knowledge should be free. Most is doing a lot of work there. That's all right. Let's see. Show me the money. Let's see. Where is it? So we're trying to account for the unruly. We're trying to account that. I've heard people have different ideas. It's, for me personally, it's and again, full disclosure, not everybody that works at Wolfram or adjacent to Wolfram involved in physics necessarily believes Professor Wolfram's or is a big fan of Professor Wolfram's idea of the Rulliad or concept of the Rulliad. I mean, it's the maximally entangled limit of all computations. I mean, how? To me, I'm like, well, in the many worlds, there could be a universe with a fine structure constant is like 1/6 or something like it. Like, you change all these constants in nature, and everyone it could be an infinite amount, and they could just be all slightly different if we're assuming real numbers or no limit on next successor or something like that. Basically, I'm like, well, isn't that kind of like many worlds? It's just we could create the world with different rule set and stuff. This happens to be the rulal space that we live in and everything. You're just taking the computational perspective. So if you're taking the computational perspective, maybe that covers everything. Maybe not everything is computational. It's an interesting thing. I hear folks go back and forth on this, and I don't know. Let's see, where are we? Well, we may actually need a fundamental disequilibrium, because if everything was just perfectly symmetric, doesn't that mean nothing happens? Don't you need something to happen? Shards of the original pot that cracked on springs. Isn't the spring equation all the way down? I don't know. Did I do the calculus? I should probably do that little video on. It does appear to be about the Planck spring constant magnitude between a minimal black hole for density and a neutron star. That's cool. Or just like little cool coincidence of the metric system. But all right, folks. I have number 5. I need a number 4. I've been lazy here. I didn't actually plan all this out. I'm just like, it will come to me. Number 4. You might be a crackpot if. Oh, I already had them in my mind. Okay. We got to prepare ourselves so I can take these clips out and make a video. I mean, that is literally kind of how this channel started. Okay, post literally. I'll get there. Okay, so number 4. You might be a crackpot if you spend a majority of your time talking about how the establishment is trying to keep you down. They absolutely are trying to crush everyone, and we need to fight back. It is us versus them. Yeah, I've seen what that's done in different communities. It always goes well. So you have this interesting dichotomy, how some folks they just want to be part of a club. Doesn't matter what club it is. You can say currently accessible academia or something. And there was an interesting thing that was posted on Twitter earlier. I think, whatever news agency, maybe Wall Street Journal or something. But it's like there was an Indian physicist, and he had basically he was saying how it feels so different without an institutional email, like having your .edu. And I'll hear that. And again, it's like if you're sending things out, a lot of times if you're getting a lot of things, and especially if you're a fairly well-established, famous scientist, or you've gone around some of the podcast circuits, what's a quick sorting feature? Well, is there a .edu? Because not everyone does. And the kind of terrible thing is that might not be the worst sorting thing in the world. But again, the problem is if you're going to set that as your sort, maybe you might miss that email that Adam Rees got that helped him win a Nobel Prize, according to Professor Keating. I say that because literally it's like I brought this up. I'm like, Stephen Wolfram, he's been public. He's like, I get approximately 600 emails a day. He's been keeping like metrics for like 30 something years. So it's like, yeah, I got like 600 emails a day. Yeah, a bunch of them are like company related, and a bunch of just other people just sending him. It's like, Professor Wolfram, I have a new idea. And it's like, yeah, most of it's just using high school physics and stuff. And it's actually kind of disappointing. The terrible thing is apparently he'll actually kind of like look through some of that, and it's just key thing. It's noting that somebody gets like 600 emails a day. At one point, that was like, I want to send them a thank you email, nice long thank you. I'm like, don't send them that. It's probably not going to get read. Send them a short, concise email saying it's really helped my research and everything. Thank you. Well, I'll probably actually read that. Just because if you're getting that much of a volume, he literally needs to like spend hours a day just grinding through email. Like he'll be eating, just grinding through email, and he just kind of gets in the zone. It's I can see that. I mean, I just say that because also that's probably what he was doing when we were at two adjacent conference rooms. At the rec center closes at like 11. Maybe he pops out a little bit after 10:30 and stuff. Goes hang out with some folks at the dorms, and then I'm just like trying to like last minute some of my stuff in my project because I'm such a procrastinator. Okay. So what did I even just say? Okay. Basically, if you're spending your time fighting a quote unquote war with an us versus them mentality, if that's where you're spending a lot of your time, you might be a crackpot. Because let's face it, it's always easier to blame other people than ourselves. I mean, I'm sorry. No, that was rude. No. Listen. We all know it's everyone else's fault. It's like, at least growing up, remember, we all got taught that we're supposed to take responsibility for our actions. You screw up, you admit to it. It's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. I remember being told that. Upon reflection, was that a giant crock of crap? Pardon my French. My apologies to the French. Because at least the mentality I get is the whole Charlie Sheen thing. Winning at any cost whatsoever. Now, that's your mentality. Hey, just be honest about it. I'm just saying, it's not like we're going through some Shakespearean theater of, oh yes, blah, 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 blah. No, it's all of these people. They're keeping us down. Maybe, you know what? Maybe that is the case. And again, it's like, I ain't a government official. I don't know. Maybe there's some government plan. Hey, maybe there are a whole bunch of dudes in a smoky back office with cigars pulling the strings of the world. My general response to that is, at least somebody's in charge. Because the antithesis might be more terrifying. That means nobody's in charge. No, again. Was it like Pope Pontius the third or something? If only the people knew with how little knowledge the world is actually run. Again, maybe that's the case. Maybe that's not. I don't know. Let's see. I'll see. Well, that's one of the things, and that's one of the big things that Anastasia and Shiloh have been harping on, Bill. It's like, what is the physical mechanism? Because we can have some math. Math is cool. I like math. But I have a much greater appreciation for math just in the frame of logic. If this, then that. This is equal to this. This is computationally equivalent to this. We can have another form for this. We can rewrite this as this. Because I saw Mike had posted on the Physics Monastery Discord a little earlier, or actually a few months ago, and I actually just got around to it. He's talking about, like, why are there all these different closed forms? I'm like, well, some forms might be more effective for us to parse. If that's not what I said, that's what I probably should have said. So my apologies, Mike. But yeah, no. What the heck is going on? What is going on? That's I happen to personally have a thing for synchronicity. I think sometimes things just kind of like align in a particular way. And I'm not an overly religious person. Although personally, like the more I learn about science, the more personally for me, I believe in God. I did not expect that. It was not an expected thing. I don't, again, personal opinion. I personally feel like whatever somebody's personal relationship is with God, universe, you go your way, I go Yahweh, whatever it is, doesn't matter as long as you're not harming other people. Don't harm children. General minimal things. Oh, 4 a.m. It's nothing wrong with waking up early. There's something really to be said for that. I need to redo my schedule, and occasionally going from several time zones over and back doesn't always work out. So let's let me, and again, probably drinking caffeine. What is it, like 8 o'clock at night? Well, there's only like a tad left. Probably still not the best thing, but let me caffeinate and we'll get into number 5 about you might be a crackpot. All right, then. So, number 5. You might be a crackpot if you claim to be the Almighty. That's right. I don't know about you. And again, I'm sure it's only my experience. We've never come across somebody that declares themselves God. That would never happen. It's like, not if you just search where people claiming to be God, you're going to see all these things there. I'm not Jesus. I am not Jesus. I might have long hair. Okay, maybe I'm part Ashkenazi Jewish. I'm not Jesus. Oh, jeez. I digress. So, okay, so I come across a whole bunch of interesting characters and stuff like that all the time. There was one gentleman at one point, he's like, I've solved the Collatz conjecture, and I'm listening. Something about escape velocity. There's a reason it comes back down. Like a 17, 18-minute video. I'm trying to parse it. I'm trying to like go through, see what he's saying, and try to just grok that he's claiming that this solves the Collatz conjecture. That's was it like 3n plus 1. And then if it happens to get to like, what is an even or odd number, you divide by like 2 or so. Long story short is they've gone up for like billions and they've gone up for a lot of iterations. And we're pretty sure it's true. We just can't prove it's true. It usually just goes back to the starting position or somewhere along there. But this gentleman, he's going through and he's trying to explain, and he has like sign language. I'm like, all right, he's doing multiple levels of communication to get this out there. Let me try listening to this person. And I'm listening and I'm listening. And then in about the last minute or so of that video, just kind of low-key says, and I am the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. And I'm like, all right, Jesus, that's nice, but I still don't understand how this solves the Collatz conjecture. Please help. So number 5, if somebody claims to be God Almighty, you might be a crackpot. Again, I'm sure nobody else has run into that before. Oh God. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that. It's personally, I plan on sending stuff to some different journals once I have something more formulated in a particular way, and I at least know that if I send it to Complex Systems, that the Wolfram, the journal that Stephen Wolfram started back in like the 80s, I might have to have it just be potential extensions to the physics project, so that can be reasons out there. But isn't that like why a lot of folks post upon information that's already out there? So once you get, okay, you now at least have a publication. So if somebody says your previous publication, you at least point to one thing. So now you almost like overcome that stigma. Oh, I don't have an EDU email right now. It's like, at least I have a previous publication. So at least some other people thought it was okay. It's almost kind of like having a job. It's like, all right, you must have this very fancy degree, this much experience, or if you have 20 years of this experience, you're fine. So once you have an established portfolio, it sounds almost like being an artist, really. Once you have an established portfolio, and maybe if you have a cool H index, which your H index is basically like your number of papers, and then you divide your number of papers times number of total citations divided by number of papers, something like that. So like right now, Professor, I believe, Juan Maldacena's ADS CFT correspondence paper, that whole that paper that I believe it worked on with Professor Susskind, the whole holographic duality, I believe it's the most cited paper within physics at this time. So probably got like 25,000 citations. Why? People did a lot of work on that. They were going back and forth and everything. Now, is that how reality really is? Are we just living in the maximal extension of a Schwarzschild black hole? Perhaps we do. Perhaps we need a Kerr extension. Perhaps we need a Reisman extension. Basically, the difference is like rotating charge. And was it like the Kerr-Reisman Nordstrom metric or something like that? Or that might be a different one. But basically, at least, like, yeah, we have the Schwarzschild solution, but it's like, if we're going to model it on black holes, doesn't that raise the thing that if we believe black holes are some ultra compact, dense object is an actual thing, are they ever non-rotating? Seems like lots of stuff is going round and round and round. So maybe there's some angular momentum built in. And if you got some angular momentum, you got some particulate around, and might start to be some surface charge over there. So, long story short, it makes the solution a bit more difficult. To be fair, I honestly, at least within Wolfram Alpha, it doesn't really seem that much difficult, at least algebraically. It's just like you're adding angular momentum terms, and you're just dividing out by this, and then you have charge, and then you got like the electric constant to balance it out. So I'm like, some weird things happen when you take it to its limit. You literally get just like complex numbers out. What the heck is one Planck mass plus one imaginary Planck mass? I have a video back on it somewhere, but wow, I've been rambling for a long time now. Let's see. All right. It's Thomas is comment. Oh, you Vishnus, you lose. You Vishnus, you. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't even know. I think Buddhism. I'm a terrible theist. Oh God, going to hell. Well, nerdy. If you scored 5 out of 5, I'd say you don't need to take statistics in college. I think, is that what the AP exams were for? I think I got a 3, and I still took history anyway. I liked history. Yeah. Die Hard. It's like, hey, Zeus. My name is not Hey Zeus. It's like, hey, Zeus. Like Zeus, king of the freaking gods, Zeus. Hey, man, I don't know. Hey, snap judgment. And dude, man, saved your life when you're in Harlem wearing a sign you should not be wearing in Harlem. And saved a man from potentially having a... we won't get into that. Ooh, you've been cited 3 times. It's well, okay. Oh God, is that the difference? As long as you get cited 3 times, I mean, isn't that what it is for like astronomy or something? If you have a thing, okay, it's an anomaly. You have 2, you have an interesting coincidence. Once you have 3 of the same type of thing, it's like, okay, it automatically becomes a thing. It's kind of like 3 sources. It's like, oh, we have 3 separate sources? That sounds like journalism, really. It's whatever happened to that? Lots of questions. But listen, my only citation is basically fit.
I know I should be wary. Still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose.
It's showtime!
What's going on 24/7? How we doing, my man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes. Welcome. Well, we're just getting ready to wrap up. We were just going over 5 signs you might be a crackpot. Where are they again? Okay. So let's do a quick recap just so I can even remember. All right. Number 1, you might be a crackpot if you claim you can explain everything. I'm happy with just one thing. If you can explain one thing that we don't know, that's great. If you're going to say that I know everything, perhaps you are a god incarnate. Or you might be a crackpot. Number 2, you might be a crackpot if you claim to have solved everything, but you can't show us. Now, maybe it is something so simple that I could literally just get up here on a whiteboard and in 1 minute, I can communicate pellucidly the concept of what is actually going on that will change and help get physics, quote unquote, unstuck. That might be the case. Or you might be a crackpot. Number 3, you might be a crackpot if you've figured out a core principle of reality and or everything, but it requires tens of millions of dollars before you share it. Now, perhaps you have figured out something so fundamental that it will literally help leapfrog humanity forward into the age of Star Trek technology. That might be the case. Or you might be a crackpot. Number 4, you might be a crackpot if you spend a majority of your time talking about how terrible, horrible, no good, very bad the establishment and academia are. They're just trying to keep us all down. And this is obviously a war because it's totally a conspiracy, bro. That might be the case. Or you might be a crackpot. Number 5, you might be a crackpot if you come out there and low-key say that you are the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. Perhaps you are literally the embodiment of God, self-given flesh. That may be the case. Perhaps you've solved the collapse conjecture. Perhaps you know precisely what is going on. Thank you for returning to us. Or you might be a crackpot. I think that was the general summary of what we were talking about there. No! Charlie lost Alice. I blame Bob. I'm sorry. That's a noob physics joke. I can't help you with your money. Hopefully you got some insurance for that. No, hey man, 24. Here's the thing. A lot of people see this stuff. It's like, oh my God, this is, well, you don't even see numbers, so you don't even like math. Oh, it's so many crazy equations. It's like literally, no, this is just stuff. This is just stuff. I happen to learn the things for this. It's kind of like if you're playing a video game and you see the term HP, you generally know if you play enough video games, that's hit points. It doesn't say hit points, it's just saying HP. That's literally just MP. It's a mass, but it's the Planck mass. So like it represents something, and then this is just literally multiplication, division, and maybe like you square something. So you're just multiplying it by yourself. And there's online calculators and stuff that does a lot of the hard work. Now, again, I mean, this is kind of straightforward-ish stuff. You can get a lot fancier. It's just, I was always scared of algebra because I never learned how to cross-multiply fractions in the 6th grade. So I was always behind, and my math teachers must move me along. And then until I had a reason to actually like use that math rather than it's like when they go, it's like, well, if Sally has 3 apples and Timmy has 5 apples and Sally gives Timmy 2 apples, how many apples? With all due respect to Sally and Timmy, I don't care how many apples they have. It's like, if you want to teach kids, teach them like Pokemon cards. It's like, all right, you got this attack value. You have so many things in your deck. What's the percentage chance you're going to pull this from your deck? Or talk about Minecraft or something. Like, kids all the time are doing resource management with Minecraft. It's like, they might say, I don't understand math. How much redstone do you need? 248 more. Because it's applied. Math is technically just logic. It's like what you said. It's like, that technically is math. Now, a lot of times mathematicians can be kind of crazy, and occasionally you'll have an interesting video like, what was it? I posted it earlier on the Twitter, where a mathematician was applying like category theory and different mathematical stuff to, is a hot dog a sandwich? So I tweeted at Fizz, and I'm like, because we literally had that conversation a couple of years ago. I claimed it was an open-faced calzone. She said it was a sandwich. Depending on your axioms within mathematics, apparently the mathematicians also agree with her that it was a sandwich. So the mathematicians seem to be confirming what my celestial wolf girl co-host said a few years ago. So that's actually a little terrifying. Yep, MP monopole. Oh! I wonder if I could. Oh, I'm gonna have to do a satire video and fantasy and stuff. Oh, Coachella. Oh, wait. Coachella? I don't. Oh, hold on. I actually need to look up that word. Unless I don't know. I've never been to Burning Man either. Cochinilla. Oh, it's like a cactus. Or conceal. Natural dye. Let me do the 2 C's. Okay, so it's a ladybug. Okay, so it's either a type of cactus or a ladybug. Okay, so at least this seems to be an earth type thing. No worries. That's basically all I got. Just kind of rambling a little bit, and again, hashtag not all, because I've literally run into folks that have like at least shaken and like literally thrown up like an air traffic controller or one of those guys on the one runway. I'm sorry, the air traffic director on the actual runway, like literally like out there like doing a dance with these flags. And again, I have to say hashtag not all, because even when some folks have done some of these flags and danced around, occasionally somebody does share something with you, and you look at it and you're like, I understand now. I still disagree with the technique used. I would go about it differently, but if there's something fundamental that folks should probably know, it's you can't patent laws of nature, because laws of nature is not law of nature. You can patent technology. Now, if technology happens to come from this law of nature that you're applying and stuff, yeah, sure. You just apply for the patents and everything. Just apply for the patents. You put the stuff out there. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? You could always go up on the moral thing where, well, what is this technology going to have? Like in World War II, it's like, okay, well, the scientists tend to be wanting to have peace and generally not they didn't want to have to build like a weapon of mass destruction. But if the counter is, do you want the Fuhrer to have it? That's a pretty strong argument. So you don't always have to agree with what somebody does, but I'm just saying that if you happen to be a person and you happen to perhaps raise one of these flags, I'm just saying, you might be right. Perhaps you shouldn't wave this flag. Or you might be a crackpot. So, with that all said, peace out, everybody. Take care of yourselves. It's a wacky and wild world out there, but here's hoping for a better tomorrow. And hey, we must also remember, any sufficiently crazy idea is indistinguishable from madness. Peace out, everybody.